You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. LSU linebacker Keylan Moses is in studio with us. Before the break, I want to talk about your goals for LSU for 2025. You said you want to play as a freshman. Talk about how you get to the field and all this stuff. But you were showing me in the break, I was asking you about like the evaluation where you were at like a 63% efficiency. That was before your injury or after your injury?
That was basically a week after my injury.
Okay, so you get measured.
Yeah, I get evaluated. Yes,
and by the way, you told us it was at FIT, which is, if I remember, it's like functionally integrated training therapy or something.
Yeah, basically.
And Jerry, we were talking about Jerry.
Yeah, shout out Jerry. Thank you for getting me right.
Dude, Jerry, it's wild. So I ran, this isn't like a Glory Days thing, but I ran a couple of marathons like 20 years ago and did some training with Jerry 20 years ago. So, and he was amazing. I remember the first time I walked in, he's like, look, your hips are crooked in this. And I felt like he twisted my body. He's like, now you're straight. And I felt like I was totally twisted. Anyway, it's wild. But so what types of stuff, because you were going to come back for the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
like you were ready.
Yeah, I was. I definitely was.
So, and for those that don't know, and you alluded to, but U-High was disqualified from the playoffs. Some type of like, it was like there was a filing. It was like a filing. Yeah, it was like a filing error for a transfer player. It was. I mean, it was terrible. I feel so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I feel very bad.
And
for the kids.
If you know, you know. I mean, we were supposed to beat up on everybody this year. So, I mean, I guess the LHSA spared them a little bit, but you know, you can control what you can control.
That's very true.
You can't do too much about it.
That's the right attitude to have. But so the good news is you feel good now.
Yes, sir.
So walk me through. So you won't go through spring ball with LSU, and a lot of reason that guys like to enroll early is for that benefit, right?
Yeah.
To be able to go through spring to kind of give them a jump start. Do you feel like that you're at a disadvantage not going through spring?
I'm gonna be honest. No, not at all. The type of player I am, I would like to see things before I do it, and I want to make sure I'm mentally prepared to be in college rather than physically prepared. I mean, ultimately, I know I'll be ready physically. I mean, all the things I'm doing with my older brother, the things I'm gonna be soon to be doing with Mr. Greg. I mean, my recovery with Mr. Arid in New Orleans, like, I'm going to be physically ready, but it's more about the transition from high school to college. You know, it's not high school anymore. This is the real deal, and the plays are probably going to be a lot more harder to understand, but I want to understand the playbook before I get on the field and do what I do best, and that's go wreak havoc. I know I'll be able to do that with wherever they put me, but I just want an opportunity, and ultimately I'll get that opportunity if I know the playbook like the backside of my hand.
How big are you right now?
I am 6'3", 205.
6'3", 205. Have they told you like a weight they want you to play at, or like?
Honestly, no. I mean, I know ultimately I'll be able to put on a lot of weight because I actually just left there not too long ago, and the food they got there is crazy. Like I'll be leaving with a lot of plates. I'll tell you that. So the weight ain't never been a problem. It's just more of my maintaining my speed and just basically being another Harold Perkins. That's really what it is. I'm just being honest. They want me to be another version of him.
So that was my question. So in high school, did you play off the ball? Or did you play outside?
I played everywhere.
You played
in high school, I played defensive end. Well, technically I'm still in high school, but in my season I played inside, I played outside, I played defensive end, I played nickel, slot, I played running back, I played sniffer. I mean, whatever you needed me to play. Quarterback sometimes, like whatever the coach needed me to play, I did it. So, but more on the defensive side, I could play anything the coach needs me to do, I'll do it. So that's what's so good about me is my versatility. So I think I'll get an opportunity to play just because of that.
With Harold, one of the things that we talked a lot about here is as a freshman, he found his niche, right?
Yeah.
As a freshman, he was this elite situational pass rusher.
Yeah.
And then wanted to move inside to play off the ball. And that transition was difficult. And then obviously had the injury this year. Do you have I know you say you play anywhere, but do you have a preference as you look at your career moving forward at being an off-the-ball linebacker? Do you want to play out in space?
I feel like I play better out in space. But one of the main things I want to do, I don't want to overthink while I'm playing. I just want to go see ball and go get it. You know what I'm saying? So one of the main things I do prefer playing is the will linebacker. I mean, the Mike linebacker is more of the leader, the soul of the defense, wants to communicate the calls or whatever. And I did that my high school career. I mean, my last my senior year, and it was nice. I mean, I didn't have any problem with doing it. But freshman to junior year, I literally just was out there playing. And if you want to get the best out of me, put me in space and I'll wreak havoc, like I said before.
Does it help having Blake Baker, who's the DC, is also going to be your position coach?
Yeah.
I think that's something that me not playing, I look, I go, well, that's probably a good thing, right? I mean, the DC also, that's his position coach, and there would be some synergies there. Like, does that help or matter?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I've always had a relationship with Coach Baker. Like I said in a previous interview before, he was the first person to ever give me an opportunity to play college football in general. So I trust him with my life. I mean, he was the first person to ever see something in me, and he was the first collegiate coach to ever really coach me. And, I mean, he sees something in me, and he basically offered me. So I have no problem with it.
Was that his first time at LSU, or was he somewhere else at the time?
He was when I got offered.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first time at LSU.
Okay.
And I was in 8th grade, so that was 2021.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. 21, because then he went to Missouri for a couple seasons. Now he's back here. So you got a really good relationship with Blake Baker. Yeah, that's always it's always so interesting, because while I think we focus sometimes on who the head coach is, and obviously who the head coach is really matters, but individually, especially during recruiting, so much of it is your position coach, right?
Because that's who you're going to be around the most.
Yeah.
So you want to build that relationship up and make sure, you guys are head to head, heart to heart, and you make sure you guys are at an understanding. I mean, the head coach is the head coach. He's the head man. You're rarely going to see him unless it's practice. But, your position coach is your ride or die. So I just want to make sure I have a good relationship with him, so whenever it's time to get in those trenches, we're ready.
Keylan Moses in studio with us. What about watching this portal cycle? I mean, for the fans, this has been pretty, intoxicating. Yeah. It's so exciting because the immediate upgrade at so many positions is very evident, right? Yeah. What about, for you coming in as a freshman, looking at that, because while it's exciting to have this much experience, talent, it's also competition coming in, right?
Yeah. So definitely looking at it, I'm excited. We're going to have guys on top of guys on top of guys, and I'm just extremely ready for the practices and just really getting to know these guys and really learning from these older guys that have been through the game and just have so much experience. I know you guys know Harold is coming back, and Witt's coming from recovering from his injury. So our defense is going to be straight regardless. But having those guys to look up to and have in front of me are just a blessing. I mean, obviously one of my main goals is to play early, but I actually want to know what I'm doing. So having those guys in front of me would definitely help. But it definitely gives me somebody or something to look up to as well. So of course it's going to be competition. Obviously, I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to play. I'm gonna be a dog. That's just what it is. I'm gonna give you a fight regardless. But I love those guys. I mean, I've been talking to them recently about playing, and we all have a real connection. And guys like Charles Ross, Zach Wheat, all those guys. I mean, we come in to build a bond, and that's one thing about Coach Baker is that he builds bonds with his guys, and he understands them outside of the the football narrative. You know what I'm saying? So that's really why. That's really what ultimately led me to commit to LSU anyway. So
yeah. What about? So you mentioned Harold. What's your you talked about the relationship with the younger guys coming in, Charles and Zach. What about Harold? You said the coaches kind of see you in that role. Do you know Harold? Have y'all talked about playing style, all that stuff? Y'all have a relationship?
I'm gonna be honest. We haven't really talked about playing as much, but I look at him as like another brother. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Our relationship is more of like family. It's not even like teammates. Whenever I text him, he texts back, and we just go on, and it's just brotherly love. But whenever we're on the field, it's like a lion in his pack it's us against them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just truly something great, and I'm glad to have a relationship like that going into college, because it's that freshman senior bond you always had. That's kind of what it is with me. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody I can look up towards rather than my brother. But yeah, I mean, the relationship is something you can't get from anything else. I mean, I'm just blessed to have it with them and ready to play with them. So yeah.
If we're talking, you and I are talking a year from now, and you've just finished your freshman season at LSU. Actually, right now, LSU would be getting ready for the national championship game, right?
Yeah.
That's
sure.
about a year from now?
For sure, yeah.
What do you think our conversations will be like? Like, if it goes, you mentioned one of your goals is to play as a freshman, but what else how would you define, like, when you, in your mind's eye, think about your freshman year? How does that look?
If I'm being honest with you, if we were having this like you said, if we were having this conversation around this time, it would most likely be over the phone because I wouldn't even be here. We would be getting ready for a national championship.
Yeah,
that's how much confidence I have in this team. We have a great leader in Garrett Nussmeier coming back, and our offense has always been firepowered. But the defense, man, the defense is something I'm really looking forward to. And one thing about me is I've always been a leader. So in any way I can be a leader, I will be. And that's something I feel like has lacked the last couple of years. There's not really been a true leader. Personally, I don't know. But, like, from the fan standpoint, there's never really been a true leader. But one thing you're going to get out of me is, a dog, but a true leader, a guy that truly cares about the game of football. But not only that, the guys who are in it with him. I want to see everybody around me win. And once again, I'm truly excited for this upcoming season. We have nothing but dogs around us, and I feel sorry for the SEC teams and whoever comes against us.
You were you mentioned being a leader. Like, you were that in the recruiting class as well.
Yes,
we
sir.
talked a good bit about, throughout your process and talking about wanting to see other things. It doesn't mean you wouldn't have ended up at LSU. I think I know you a little bit well enough to, like, this is home, and you're excited. You're always excited to be a Tiger, and, like, how many times you told us here, like, you told Brian Kelly, like, I'm gonna lead the charge, right, in this class, and you did and put this together. So, like, you with this freshman class, you talked about the veterans coming in, or the veterans coming back, and what this team's gonna be. It's got a really, top 10 class coming in. Your class coming in.
Yeah.
I would imagine, like, you're smiling big. I would imagine when you look at this class in total, do y'all talk about what you all could achieve together in your 3-4 years at LSU?
Well, that's exactly why I'm getting guys to come up on the podcast. Like, my last episode with Jace Thomas, we were just talking about what do you expect? What do LSU fans expect to get out of you? What do you plan to do with your time being a Tiger? So, like, guys like Harlan Berry, Damian Shanklin, DJ Pickett, I'm gonna have them come up on upcoming episodes to really just not only talk about the recruiting process and ultimately being a Tiger, but what does fans get to expect out of them when coming here. So being a leader of this upcoming class has been great. Of course we had our ups and downs, but it's whoever wants to be here will be here. And ultimately, one thing I did that the coaches really appreciated was that I expressed my love for the university. I mean, I've been an LSU fan since I was since I can remember. Yeah. And growing up, watching those Tyrann Mathieu highlights, the Leonard Fournette highlights, and just, it can't get no better than that. And then, with my older brother, he was a LSU commit for the longest, and just being around the people and just being around the facility and the game days, like, it was just something that just felt really, really like home being there. And that's something that I feel like touched the other recruits, because it's like, well, man, he's from here and he just feels this love and this and that, but I wonder what it feels like when I get here. And that's what I want to put into them, like the love that I have. It ain't about me. I'm going to tell them straight up, like, this is not me recruiting you. This is me telling you what it is. Either you're going to be a part of it or see us in, January, maybe late February in the national championship. So that's just what it is.
In November, when LSU plays Alabama, is Dylan going to be wearing purple or crimson?
That's something you're gonna have to ask him. Personally, I don't know. Let's hope he's wearing purple, but purple and gold. But I think one thing that I don't know. I'm trying to shape an answer for you, but
you're
first,
not just shaping an answer. I'm just teasing you, man.
No
Everybody
idea.
knows I'm just teasing you, man.
Yeah,
all right, Keylan Moses, man, it's always fun to chat. Y'all go check out the Key to It All podcast, YouTube, your favorite podcast app, The Key to It All. 3 episodes already. The first episode was with Dylan and Emmanuel, and then the second episode was with Lamar Brown. third episode, which is live now, as well as with Jace Thomas out of Destrehan. We'll have more coming up, so make sure you check it out. Go subscribe to the podcast. Support these guys as they continue growing it, man. It's always great to chat. We'll have you back soon, man. Do well the rest of your senior year, right? All right? Listen to your mom. She's right. Go finish your senior year and then go to college.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.